chute deployment sequence will occur in several stages. There are a total of 11 parachutes for Orion to slow its speed from a peak velocity of about 32 times the speed of sound to a splashdown velocity of just 19 miles an hour in a 14-minute period. So it's a pretty quick deceleration that will be felt by the crew on board Integrity. First up will be the deployment of 3 forward bay cover parachutes to pull the forward bay cover. That's essentially the top cover on the vehicle that must be pulled away from the rest of Integrity to ensure the deployment of the rest of the parachute system. So 3 forward bay cover parachutes will be deployed at 7:03 and 22 seconds p.m. Central Time. Each one of these chutes is 7 feet in diameter, weighing about 8 pounds apiece, 100% Kevlar. Those chutes are deployed at an altitude of about 24,000 feet when the vehicle is traveling at about 350 miles an hour. That'll be followed in quick succession by the deployment of 2 drogue chutes, and you'll hear all of this in real time. 2 drogue chutes will be deployed to stabilize the crew module during descent, establishing the proper conditions for the main parachute deployment that will follow imminently. The drogue chutes will deploy at 7:03 and 23 seconds p.m. Central Time, while the vehicle is traveling now just 473 feet per second. So you can see how quickly the descent rate will decelerate, and we'll be calling out altitude and rate of descent all the way through Integrity's transit across the Pacific Ocean. The main chute deployment following 3 pilot parachutes that are used to lift and deploy the main parachutes from the crew module forward bay. That's followed finally by main parachute deploy. That's the key thing we're looking for. These 3 large parachutes that will deploy at 7:04 and 44 seconds p.m. Central Time at an altitude of about 5,400 feet above the ocean. And at this point, Integrity will be traveling just 198 feet per second. And back aboard Integrity, Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen in the middle of your screen, Christina Cook on the right, Reed Wiseman in the background, the crew continuing to stow equipment and get Integrity's cabin ship-shape for tomorrow's return to Earth. The main parachutes, the 3 large orange and white parachutes that you'll be seeing, are 116 feet in diameter. They weigh 310 pounds apiece. Each parachute is about 265 feet long. You'll see them reef in that typical manner that you see parachute deployments for a spacecraft that is landing on land in the case of Russian Soyuz vehicles, or in the case of Dragons landing in the Gulf or off the coast of California. So 11 parachutes will be employed during the descent of Integrity for its splashdown, and the current time that we have from Flight Dynamics for splashdown on Friday night is 7:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Pacific Time, which is about 2.5 hours before sunset out in the Pacific. Victor Glover just right there on the left side of your screen. corridor, essentially a cone across the Pacific from southwest to northeast that is about 475 miles wide, 475 nautical miles wide. If you think of the beginning of entry interface, go 1,300 miles down track toward the coast of California. That is the initiation of the zone, the splashdown zone that we would like to enter in. We would prefer to enter into a zone that is as far downrange as 1,775 nautical miles, which is much closer to the coastline of California, and much closer to where the recovery team will be waiting to begin the process of ensuring that the vehicle is not in any anomalous situation, no leaking of toxic gases, and to begin the process of erecting a large raft alongside of the vehicle called the front porch, in which the crew will be extracted, and we'll spend a few minutes getting acclimated to the sensation of gravity for the first time in 9 days before they are hoisted in sequential fashion up to a pair of Navy helicopters to fly them back to the deck of the USS John Murtha, where they will go into medical bay for initial medical evaluations. The latest information that we have received from the Murtha shows the order of extraction of the crew from the vehicle to be in this order. Christina Cook will be extracted first, followed by Victor Glover, then Jeremy Hansen, and the commander, Reed Wiseman, will be last out of his ship. They'll all be in that front porch, the large inflatable raft, buttressed up alongside the hatchway to integrity, before they are hoisted one by one into the helicopters in alternating fashion. Christina Cook first up to helicopter number 1, Jeremy Hansen next to helicopter number 2, Victor Glover, third in line, will be hoisted to helicopter number 1 to join Cook, and Reed Wiseman last to be hoisted to helicopter number 2 to join Hansen for the short ride back to the deck of the Murtha. There have been a lot of questions regarding peak velocity and G-forces on the crew. We can tell you that the current prediction by Flight Dynamics indicates that the peak velocity for integrity as it barrels back into the Earth's atmosphere will be just after we begin a 6-minute blackout in communications, which I'll explain again just a moment or two from now. We expect the speed to be about Mach 32, which equates to about 23,839 miles an hour. Now that could vary a bit based on trajectory, angle of attack, and other factors, but we expect the peak velocity to be about 32 times the speed of sound. The G-forces on the crew expected to be up to about 3.9 Gs, very much in limits to what you would see for a returning Soyuz or Dragon crew, even though the velocity entering the Earth's atmosphere is much higher for integrity because of the distance that it is traveling on its way back from the moon. We'll run down all of the key times of entry events a short time from now, but for now, everything is going very well on board. The crew preparing to enter into a conference with Entry Flight Director Rick Henfling to discuss all of the particulars regarding procedures for tomorrow's homecoming to bring to an end this historic lunar flyby. At a mission elapsed time of 7 days, 22 hours, 12 minutes, 24 seconds into the flight of integrity, this is Mission Control Houston. The main parachutes, the 3 large orange and white parachutes that you'll be seeing, are 116 feet in diameter. They weigh 310 pounds apiece. Each parachute is about 265 feet long. You'll see them reef in that typical manner that you see parachute deployments for a spacecraft that is landing on land in the case of Russian Soyuz vehicles, or in the case of Dragons, landing in the Gulf or off the coast of California. So 11 parachutes will be employed during the descent of Integrity for its splashdown. And the current time that we have from Flight Dynamics for splashdown on Friday night is 7:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Central Time, 5:07 and 6 seconds p.m. Pacific Time, which is about 2.5 hours before sunset out in the Pacific.